What up, YouTube? G for Alita here. Once again, a pretty serious video. I know I'm late about this, but this video is about that whole Amanda Todd situation. Before I even talk about how I feel on that topic, I just noticed, because I sit back and observe. I don't, I try to observe a situation first before I speak, and what I noticed about this particular situation is it's 50-50 on how people feel about this shit. There actually are people that are genuinely sad over it, think it's a tragedy and shit like that, but there's actually another half of people that's saying she deserved to die, good riddance, and making jokes about it on some completely crazy shit, and for them to make jokes about it, that's crazy to me. That's crazy to me. You know, I can understand. Well, I can understand, like, she killed herself over something that was small. Over small temporary problems. That much I can agree with. But to make fun of her death, you know, that's on some really fucked up shit. That's on some real crazy type of shit. She was being bullied, bullied. Me, I made multiple videos talking about how I feel about bullying, whether it's physical bullying or cyberbullying. She was going through both, I didn't condone the behavior she did when she did expose herself, and but I feel like at that time, well, she is a kid, but I felt like she was even younger than that when she got convinced to do that. Kids are naive. Kids are stupid. They do stupid shit like that. I don't feel like she should have been ridiculed for it. I don't think that her peers should have ridiculed her for it too, because they bullied her to death. I don't feel like they should have did that. I feel like they should have looked out for her. This is some stranger that took advantage of a kid, and instead of the kids coming to her aid to help defend her, they bullied her instead. So it just leads me to say, what the fuck is wrong with kids nowadays? Kids are assholes nowadays. This girl was screaming out for help, screaming out. She is not like the signs of her wanting to commit suicide wasn't there. She drank bleach before. She tried to overdose before. She posted YouTube videos saying how depressed she was, and it's sad that nobody came to her aid like that. It's just it disturbs me how people are. How it just disturbs me how people just don't give a fuck. Like, had I saw that, I try to help anybody who needs it. I don't care what you look like. I don't care about your background. I don't care what you did. If you're suffering, if you need help, I will try to help you. That's why I wish I saw the shit, because I try to help anybody and everybody that needs the shit. Like, even if it's somebody I don't even know, if it's somebody on YouTube who randomly seen one of my videos saying they're going through some shit, they could personal message me and I would answer it. Probably within the same day. I try to talk to everybody. So I just wish I seen this shit. I just wish it was more people out there willing to help instead of making fucked up jokes about it. Instead of, shit ain't cool. This young lady took her life because she felt there was no way to get away from bullying. She felt like that was her only way out. And the kids around her made that environment for her so she felt like that. What kind of fucked up shit is that? It's something seriously going wrong. Something seriously going on when young people feel like they have no way out. They have to commit suicide. Because this teen suicide shit is going up, So it's getting real fucked up out there. And I know people like to use that argument. People die all the time. Their deaths are overlooked and shit like that. Well, personally with me, they deaths not overlooked. Like I said, I put out a video before talking about other people who committed suicide. I don't care how the person looked. I care about that it's sad that this person couldn't find happiness. Nobody tried to help them. That's what the fuck is important to me. That's what the fuck should be important to other people. Instead of making these fucking jokes and shit. You know, it just goes to show you how people are nowadays, you know. But real talk, if somebody needs help out there, you know, if you just stumble on this video by accident, you know, if you feel even slightly depressed, you know, if you ever even thought about suicide once, you know, please hit me up. Please just talk to me. Like I said, I'm a pretty cool guy. I think, you know, I bet I can make things slightly better. It'll be nice to get things off your chest, to have somebody to talk to, you know. So like I said, if you stumble upon this video and you're thinking about suicide, you have depression, you're being bullied, you know, like I said, I'll try my best to help, you know, because it breaks my heart when I see young people lose their lives over stuff that's preventable, you know. But anyways, I don't see the world changing, you know, people getting worse, you know. But like I said, if we could find more people like myself, more people like my friends, you know, my family, who willing to help people, you know, maybe we can make a small difference, you know. But anyways, you can hit me down in the comments below. Tell me how you feel about this situation. G4 Leader here, signing out. Thank you guys for watching.